This past year almost took me out in more ways than one. I moved back in with my parents, I had a heart attack, and I was diagnosed with bipolar. And I realized I haven't been myself for the past 3 years. So, hi. If you're new here, my name is Ezrin, and this is probably the most honest video I have made. So if you've been here for a while, you probably have noticed that I have kind of dimmed down. I wasn't loud, I wasn't bright, I wasn't me. And I didn't know how much of myself had disappeared. Also, if you're wondering if I keep looking not into the camera, I had written down what I wanted to say, so I don't get off track here. For 3 years, I was in a relationship where the spotlight always had to be on them. At first, I didn't think it meant anything. I was supportive. I love hyping people up. I love celebrating others. But slowly, I stopped taking up space. I stopped talking about my wins. I stopped shining too brightly. I stopped being loud because it made someone else uncomfortable. And when you do that long enough, you forget how to exist without shrinking. I wasn't just quiet online, I was quiet in my own life. I became background noise in my own story. And when that relationship ended, I didn't just lose a person, I realized I had lost myself. Moving back in with my parents, I feel like a failure. But it wasn't a failure, it's rebuilt. And rebuilding requires admitting that something broke. My body forced me to stop. I had a heart attack. And I can't help but wonder how much of that was stress, how much of that was suppressing everything, and how much of that I was carrying too much for too long. You can't live invisible and expect your body not to protest. So I went to therapy. Real therapy, honest therapy. And with that, that's how I figured out I was diagnosed with bipolar. And suddenly, the past few years and most of my life actually made sense. The highs where I overworked myself, the crashes where I felt hollow, the way I tolerated things I shouldn't have. I wasn't weak, I wasn't dramatic. I was untreated and exhausted, and maybe a little too desperate to be loved. When everything crashed, the real ones stayed. The ones who let me talk, the ones who reminded me that I was talented, the ones who told me I didn't need to shrink. And that was the first time in years I felt visible. This past year, I started taking up space again. I started talking louder. I started celebrating my wins. I started dressing in a way I wanted, creating in a way that I wanted, existing without asking for permission. And I realized I haven't fully been myself in 3 years. That version of me wasn't gone, they were just buried. I'm not perfect. I'm in therapy, I'm medicated, I'm healing. But I'd rather be loud and healing than quiet and disappearing. I will never dim myself again just to make another person comfortable. When it comes down to it, I deserve the space. I deserve to shine. I'm allowed to be loud. This was my hardest year of my life. It was also the year where I met myself again, and I'm not going to give myself up ever again. Thank you for those who stayed. Just know, from here on out, I'm gonna be who I am.